Hello. So one of the common things that we need to do with PLC diagrams is actually create a shade on the actual layout of the PLC so we can identify clearly what card on the rack that we are talking about when with respect to the loop drawings for that particular card. So often what we do is put together a shading across the actual rack itself. In this case, what we've got is a Delta V project using the Charms electronic marshalling. So we can see the rack elements here. We know that an individual rack for Charms can only have 8 modules. And so what we're doing now is when we're putting together the loop drawings, we're shading one particular element. So let's go and jump and have a look at the templates. So the actual slot shading itself, we have the drawing block and we have a hint. We have to have a hint on any drawing that we're going to be using as a loop diagram. Doesn't matter if we don't actually assign any data to it or point it at anything. But what we have to do is go through, create a shade drawing. So we've imported it as a template. We've read it and built the custom loop table. So here's the custom loop table. I've then added one drawing and I've simply called it shade. So if we look at then the actual template of the card that it goes on. So here's the template itself. We know we've got 12 loop diagrams for our individual elements, individual charms that are going in. So here we have our 8. Oh, by the way, this one over here is just in case people wanted to do a manual insertion after the fact. Just gives them options. But what we have is the automatic. So let's have a look at the hints. So what we've done, we've got our hint number. We've just assigned it a verbal identification, rack 1, rack 2, and we're inserting a loop diagram. So we go and have a look at the actual cards themselves. What we can do remember we can configure loop components, and when we configure them, we can use a individual loop diagram more than once or assign more than one device to drawings within a project. So here we've got rack 1 and we've assigned shade. We go and have a look at the next card, configure its components. On rack 2, we've got shade as well. When we go to generate, this will crash out because I actually happen to have that example one open. So we'll just close that, regenerate it again for you. It's always worthwhile showing you a negative because then we can see what we did wrong as well. So we generate again. And that'll go through and it's going to generate all of those diagrams that we have there. And it will then put in the assignments for the shading of the cards in the correct locations as we have inserted them. And this is obviously doing a complete update of 32 cards on this project. So it saves a lot of time if you're doing a lot of alterations during the early stages of a project. You can put together your project, skeleton it out, and actually see what it looks like pretty quickly. So there's the 32 diagrams. We'll go and open up one of the cards. And in slot 2.5, which is unassigned to anything else, we actually know exactly where we're related to on the rack. So thank you very much.